When you approach the back of Ikana Graveyard, you'll see a large skeleton blocking the tunnel in the middle of the bridge. Next to it is a stone engraving which will give you a clue on what you need to do. Stand next to the large skeleton and play the Sonata of Awakening to wake him up, which will start the battle with Skull Keeta. He initially starts off running away from you, so we're going to have to catch up. There's these stone monolith things that are against the wall, which represent flaming wall defenses, I suppose. They spring up once you get close, along with 2 Style Children. Once you defeat the 2 smaller skeletons, the flaming walls disappear, allowing you to progress. If you take too long catching up to Skull Keeta, then he'll reach the end and claim you weren't worthy to face him, and then disappear. If this happens, you'll have to play the Song of Time and come back here to face him again. The best way to catch up to him is to Z-target him and continually shoot him with arrows from afar. This will stun Skull Keeta briefly, giving you a chance to catch up. When the Style Children appear, I recommend just keeping him targeted and simply position yourself so you can swing your sword and kill them. Then just shoot him again. Once you get close enough, you want to slash him with your sword to move on to the second phase of the battle. At this point, he'll try and smack you with his very long arms, which can reach over your shield. Because of this, it's often better to shoot him from afar to stun him so that you can run in and slash him with your sword after that. He counterattacks by jumping into the air and trying to land on you Bowser style, simply run away in the shadow and then turn around and repeat the same process. If he gets too close to you and is about to hit you, quickly throw down a Deku Nut, which will stun him. Just after stunning him with arrows and such, and you can often try getting your sword out and then using a jump attack on him to do double damage. This is particularly true if you have the Gilded Sword, and before too long you should score enough hits that Skull Keeta will be defeated. After that scene is over with, the flames surrounding the chest will then disappear. Now if you got the hookshot in Great Bay, which I will actually be doing next, then you can simply grapple onto the chest to get over there. Otherwise, you're going to have to climb onto the railing here and jump across. Open the chest to get the Captain's Hat, which contains the soul of Captain Keeta. While wearing it, people will think you are him, which makes them scared of you, but what's even cooler is that it allows you to command Style Children, because they are the dead soldiers of Ikana, and he is their captain. Ironically, Dampe the Gravekeeper is terrified of the undead in the graveyard. Not saying that he shouldn't be, I mean I would be too, but I just find it ironic that someone who's so terrified would have a job like that. Can't you just find work elsewhere? Now if you speak with him while wearing the Captain's Hat, he'll exclaim that the undead should only be out at night, and then he'll run off and lock himself in his house. With that clue, you want to play the Song of Double Time to take you to the first night. You can also just mash the buttons once this begins to skip the movie that plays of Link being harassed by the floating clocks. So out here in the graveyard at night, you'll see several Style Children. While wearing the Captain's Hat, they won't attack you, and you can even speak with them and order them around. Once you take off the mask, though, they'll immediately come after you and try and hit you like usual. When you're done messing around, run over to the 3 Style Children that are circling the grave. Now, they circle a different grave on each night, and the particular grave that they're guarding depends on which night it is. So if you've already are on the second night, you should play the Song of Time and come back here so that you can access all 3 graves. You'll see what I mean in a moment. Speak with one of them while wearing the Captain's Hat and order them to open the grave once you get that option. Inside the first grave, you want to hop across the platforms and enter this first doorway. You'll immediately encounter a ton of bad bats. If you like, you can actually wear these stone masks to become invisible to them, which will allow you to easily take out some of them. However, because they don't come after you, they kind of stay up a little bit higher than your sword. This room truly has a lot of enemies in it, and it makes me think that the developers really wanted to do something like this in Ocarina of Time, which was the prequel. But it probably made the game lag too much to have so many enemies on the screen, so with the expansion pack, they had the increased frame rates and such, so I think that this is one simple example of how they took advantage of the added flexibility. Something that they always wanted to do, and they managed to do it for this game. Anyway, you want to whittle down the bad bats down if you wish, and then slap on the Deku Mask to defeat the rest. The trick is to do this without taking damage, is to run to one side of the room and make them follow after you, and then go back the other way, spinning through them. This will allow you to make them all come after you, and as a result, they won't actually hit you. The other effective way to kill them is to use Deku Nuts, but you most likely don't have any of those right now, or if you do, you only have a few. Once they're all dead, a chest will appear in the center of the room containing a purple rupee, which is worth 50. There's a puzzle you'll have to solve in order to open the door, though. There are 3 unlit torches in this room, so you want to shoot at least one of them with a fire arrow, and then you can shoot the remaining 2 if you wish, or you can use a Deku Stick to light them all. However, you probably don't have a Deku Stick. This next room contains a new enemy that you Ocarina of Time veterans will recognize. Iron Knuckles often stand still like statues until you wake them up, so if you smack them, then be ready to run away. They'll then begin swiping away immediately, and their massive axe does a whopping 4 hearts of damage, so be very careful not to get hit. You don't really have that much health. Your shield is no use against their strength, so don't bother trying to defend. Instead, you want to evade them as much as possible. Initially, they walk very slowly, and so you can use bombs to break their outer armor. But the trick to harming them is to strike between their attacks, meaning that you may have to taunt them into attacking, and quickly sneak in and hit them afterwards. Once their outer armor falls off, Iron Knuckles will jog towards you fairly quickly, but they'll also now move forward as they attack as well, making them a little harder to avoid. I recommend you run away and wait until you get in a good position where you can turn around to target them. They're a little bit faster now, and they're too fast for bombs to be effective, but they also now will deflect your attacks. Just after they parry, you can stab them again, but occasionally they will parry quickly and immediately smack you afterwards, so this is very dangerous. Because of this, I recommend you keep using the same tactic. Just stab them, and then back up, and then quickly rush in and stab them once you're sure it's safe. So in the last game, Ocarina of Time, there were 2 ghost characters found in Ikana Graveyard named Sharp and Flat. They were quite obviously Poes, which are spirits of lingering regret in this world after death because of hatred. Now they were the royal composer brothers to the royal family of Hyrule, and they made the Sun Song, but they were minor characters that you probably only met and spoke with if you read their tombstone in the graveyard. So don't be surprised if a lot of you didn't remember ever seeing them, because you probably didn't. They look somewhat similar to Mario and Luigi, making them possible cameo references, especially considering that Nintendo puts Mario references in several games in the Zelda series, so this is quite likely. Now, a lot of the characters in the Zelda games resemble either people in real life or other video game characters, so this really shouldn't be surprising. Anyway, Nintendo is reusing these characters in this game, and they play a much larger role than they did before, but just like Kome and Kotake, they are not the same people that they were in Ocarina of Time. They simply have the same names, personalities, and they look the same. So apparently Sharp, the Mario-looking brother, turned all evil and such, cursing his brother and sealing him down here in this grave. Flat is both saddened and angry at his brother, and to help you move forward, he allows you to learn a song that he composed in life, which is on the stone tablet behind him, the Song of Storms. This melody was in the previous game, though you learned it from Guru Guru in that game, which is why he plays that same song in his music box. The Song of Storms allows you to blow away curses, which we'll be using here in the few chapters. Now, you may have encountered blue bubbles, which will curse you, making you unable to use your sword for a while. You can now use the Song of Storms to blow this curse away if you do get touched by them, so that's kind of useful. But you can also use it to make magic bean plants grow, so you no longer need to find fresh spring water anymore. You can just play the song and it will grow the plant. So with song in hand, we're done with everything we need to do here, so work your way out of this underground cavern, and join me for the next video where I'll show you what lies within the other graves in the Ikana Graveyard.